What's going on? How's everybody doing? I'll do like a podcast. I listen to it. They go, "Ooh, come in," or what's that? He says so. Yeah, so it is. He was like, "Welcome in." I don't know. Honestly, I hate it when he does it. But I'm listening to Issues right now. Actually, why you do that? There's a million other things that you're good at. Yeah, I'm listening to a band called Issues. They don't play together anymore or tour, but really good band. I wish they would get back together for a little bit. Thank you, Mama. Appreciate that. Thank you, Mama Robbins. I need to brush a little better. Yeah, I decided to go. I have issues right now, don't we all? Um, yeah, I decided to go hatless today. We'll see. It looks pretty good today. I don't know. Kind of. Should have brought my brush up here. Ah, yeah, whatever. Oh, there you go. I needed the hat. Thanks. Appreciate that. I just need the hat. That's what it was. Woo! I'm not gonna lie. I ordered some Thai food because I was like, well, I was hungry. Really wasn't much more than that to it. I was just hungry. And so last week I got this Thai food and it was like, I ordered like the hot, which is like my standard, like what I eat, right? Like I eat hot. And I got it and I was like, man, this stuff is really hot. I was like, it's like hotter than normal. And so I thought I was being like a whole little bitch. That's what I thought was going on. But then Ari was there, and Ari actually, she likes hotter food than I do, funny enough. Which is crazy. But she came out and just face red, nose. I was like, oh my goodness, it was so hot. Anyways, my stomach was jacked up for 2 straight days. But the food was so good. It was so good, right? And so like I was like, all right, I'm gonna order it again, but I'm gonna order it like a lower heat level. So so like I can enjoy it this time. Nope. Had like 5-6 bites of it. I'm over there coughing. I don't know. I don't know what I did to these people like at this food truck that I'm eating at. I don't know what I did to them, but man, that is some that has me freaking dying over here. Congrats, Texas cat lover. We just had somebody get accepted into grad school. Let's get some W's in the chat for Texas cat lovers. See some W's in the chat for Texas cat lover over on my TikTok side who just got accepted into grad school. That's pretty freaking dope. That's pretty freaking cool, isn't it? I hope your studies go well. I loved grad school, so I liked grad school a lot more than I liked undergrad. I'll tell you that much. Uh-oh, where? Oh, I think I took it downstairs. Dang it. All right, we're getting this thing started. I really appreciate you. I got to put some eye drops in too. Oh, hope I brought my eye drops. I might have to leave. I don't have. Oh, I do. Oh, goodness gracious. Can we get big W's in the chat for Taurus starting out the live with 5 gifted memberships? Can we get big W's in the chat for Taurus with the 5 gifted memberships to start the live out? And can we get extra ones if you got one of those memberships? Can we get huge W's? Let's start this thing out. Thank you so much, Taurus. I really appreciate you. That is absolutely huge, Taurus. Thank you so much. I feel like I sound like I'm disingenuous because I'm like trying to like give oxygen or give liquid to my eyes. Taurus, thank you so much. I really do mean that. All right. Now I can see again. Isn't that nice? I so prefer seeing. It's so much better than not seeing. You have no idea. Like 10 out of 10 would choose seeing all the time. 10 out of 10 would choose seeing. All right. Well, we're just getting this thing going, getting everything loaded up, getting some people in here. Really appreciate y'all for coming in. And we'll get this started with some guests pretty soon. We'll get this started with some guests pretty soon in just a moment. Like I said, we're just getting some people in here. Taurus. That was funny. I see that in there. We're just getting this thing started, getting loaded up, you know, just moving into the night. I thought you said 7. Yeah, it's 7-ish. It's 7 BPT. All right. Jay Kale, thank you so much for just becoming a member. I really appreciate that. Big Dibs in the chat for Jay Kale for becoming a member. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Yeah. When I say I'm going to be on at 7, I mean 7 BPT. If you don't know what BPT is, okay, then get educated first and then we'll go there. All right. For our newest member, with our newest member over here. Oh my goodness. Yeah, exactly. See, just Peachy gets it. Did you just say BPT, fellow old head? Yes. All right. At least somebody knows what the hell I'm talking about. All right. There's a few of y'all coming out. So there's a few real ones in here. All right. there's a few real ones in here. All right. I am live 7-ish Central Time. Central Time. Central Time. I am in the Central Time Zone. All right. That's how. But you're in Florida. Yes, there are parts of Florida that are in Central Time Zone. Correct. There's BPT, there's CPT. It all means the same thing. We're all good. All right, we're about to get this thing started with some guests. And get this thing moving. I don't know who you are. And you don't have a profile picture. I don't see really any point in bringing you up. Let's open up these phone lines, get started with some guests. Y'all, thank you so much for being here. Make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. Oh, excuse me. If you'd like to support the live, of course, I do have super chats and memberships open as we're already 6 members in. We just started. That's a great start to the live. So if you'd like to become a member or so, please consider that also. Thank you so much. Hello, how are you?
Who is this?
Who is this?
Are you on TikTok live right now?
I'm on all sorts of lives right now.
All
I'm
right,
even on a live right now. Who are you?
My name is Ahmed.
Oh, you were the guy in there like whining about me not bringing you up on the panel.
Well, yeah, I was just wondering why you did that.
To get away from people like you.
Oh,
Yeah. So I specifically don't have to talk to people like you.
well, I thought that was what the whole point was. You're messing with me, aren't you?
No, I'm not.
So we got a little comedian, huh?
Watch, you want to see how much I'm not messing with you? You want to see? Watch. And there you go, and now you're gone. All right, we're going to bring up a new caller in a second. But thank you for telling me who you were, so I make sure you never come back up here again. No, I do not want to talk to some TikToker on his third account who probably bounces from every single live to every single live. I'm here to have real conversations with real people. Hello, how are you?
Hey, how you doing?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm around 23 years old.
In like dog years? How old are you for real?
23.
All right. You still support Trump?
Of course I do. Trump 2024, bitch.
That's not your real voice. Nobody talks like that.
This is my real voice.
That's your real, dude. If that's your real voice, I'm so sorry for you.
No, it's all right. It's all right.
All right. Well, you can take your voice and put it someplace else. I don't want to hear it. Yeah, I don't understand. You're 22. You're 22. You don't know what age you are? Around 22? What the hell is around 22? You still count individual birthdays at that age. Like I'm 38. I know exactly how old 38 is. Okay? Like I understand it. You know what I'm saying? It's not that difficult. You're 22. Yeah, see, thank you, Maddie. Maddie's in the chat says she's 22 and she counts every single birthday. She's probably young enough where she still like looks forward to birthdays. You know what I'm saying? She probably still looks forward to birthdays. Birthdays come up and she's like, oh, this is a good thing, not, oh, I'm 1 year closer to not being here anymore. Hello, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. How old are you?
26.
At least this guy knows how old he is. We're already doing so much better. We're doing so much better. He didn't say around 26. He didn't say about 26. He was like, I'm 26. That is, thank you. This is already the best conversation I've had today.
Oh, that's good.
That's crazy, isn't it? All you had to do was answer how old you were, and you already are number one in best conversations I've had today.
That's a good start.
Yeah, it really is. I mean, you still have a chance to ruin it, but you know, like so far you're doing amazing. All right. So anyways, do you still support Trump?
Yeah, I love him.
You love Trump. That's weird. You're just trying to ruin it right off the bat, huh?
Not in a weird way. Like I like him.
Well, I love a president or a public servant is weird unless you are related to them or married to them. I guess relationships, like domestic partnerships would be fine.
Fuck it, man. I love hot dogs. and I don't love them and they're not my family.
Yeah, a hot dog is an inanimate object. Do you not know the difference between a Donald Trump and a hot dog? Well, actually, check that. No, I actually completely understand why you don't know the difference between Donald Trump and a hot dog. That actually checks completely. So anyways, why do you love Donald Trump?
For me, I think a big part of it is just his support of Israel has always been something that I've really valued. And just him fighting for peace in the world and seeing him achieve that peace, I think is something.
Are you talking about this ceasefire today? You know, this is like the third ceasefire that we've had, right?
I'm talking about the bombing of Iran. I'm talking
about peaceful bombing of Iran. Yeah, I remember that.
Well, there's nothing peaceful about it, but
Well, you just said he
It-
promotes peace, and then you said like the bombing of Iran. So I'm just,
yeah, but sometimes you achieve peace through the sword.
yeah. So let me ask you a question. When was the Iran attack in the United States?
I don't know if there ever was one.
Okay, so we were peaceful before, then Trump bombed them, and then we were peaceful afterwards. So therefore, Donald Trump created peace.
No, I'm not talking about peace for America. I'm talking about the world in general.
Oh, okay. So the world in general. All right. So who was Iran fighting that, that they didn't already, you're saying that bombing nuclear sites created peace. So who was Iran planning on bombing with nuclear bombs?
I don't think they even had the bomb quite yet.
They
but
didn't.
I think that
So
they
how
would've-
did that create peace?
Because I think that they would have used it against Israel if they would have achieved the bomb.
But they weren't trying to create the bomb
Otherwise, they have a nuclear facility.
because they had a nuclear facility. I guess for nuclear energy, I guess in case they ever decided they wanted to make the bomb, but they weren't making the bomb.
Well, then why have a nuclear facility? And
I
what
just
do you
said,
know?
I
What
just
do you-
told you
what
why.
do you know that goes on 500 feet under the ground in a secret?
Oh,
nuclear
I
bunker?
don't know. The UN watchdogs know
How do they know?
because they go there. Because under the JCPOA, it was a requirement that UN watchdogs went and checked it out to make sure that they weren't building a nuclear bomb.
Yeah, but they don't see everything.
Well, between that and, US intelligence and the intelligence of every single country and the fact that literally people were going down there to literally see exactly that. Yeah, I think we know most things, right? I'm not going to say we know everything, but we know a lot of things. I mean, we have, HUMINT, SIGINT, we have all the different intelligence apparatuses that are, conducted by, all the countries around the world, and they were pretty sure. You know what I'm saying? I mean, sure enough,
Yeah,
for the
I know what you
U.S.
mean,
Director of National Intelligence under Donald Trump to say they weren't building one.
Building a bomb or not, you know what though? Even if they hypothetically weren't, I think bombing them is still a strong move. It's a show of power. It's a show of you're not going to get away with this shit. It's about standing up against evil.
What
doing what's
shit are
right.
they not getting away with?
Funding terrorists all over the Middle East.
They're still doing that.
Yeah, so maybe it's a good time to drop another.
Yeah, they were doing that before. They're doing that now. Donald Trump has come out on television and encouraged them, like trading oil with China, which they're just going to use that money to then fund terrorist organizations. And if
Yeah,
we were worried
they might be
about,
able to do it.
worried about Iran funding terrorist organizations, why would we attack their nuclear facilities that they weren't trying to make a bomb for? Wouldn't we attack, like their government, their oil, the other different things in which they make money to fund these terrorist organizations? That's I'm just saying, like, if I was trying to stop Iran from funding terrorist organizations, I would probably go after some type of apparatus in which they did that.
They did. They bombed the missile defenses. They supported Israel in attacking the missile launchers. They took out a whole bunch of their chain of command. They took out the people who are funding them, sending the money over to the terrorists.
You're just naming things Israel did.
Yeah, but they did it with the help.
What do you mean that we stood behind them and went rah rah, like go Israel? Like, what do you mean with the help? Israel has all
the weapons and the intel.
No, freaking Israel has the best intelligence in the Middle East in that region, and they have all of the weapons they need to do all of those things without U.S. help. The only thing they couldn't do, was bomb their nuclear facilities. That's the only thing they couldn't do. Israel did all the rest on their own. Donald Trump even said he just gave Yahoo called him and said, "Hey, I'm just doing this," and he was like, "Okay, whatever." Like that's what Donald Trump said.
Yeah,
that's not us doing anything. That's just Israel doing stuff. It sounds like you just really like Israel, and that's fine, I guess. I mean, it's weird, but like, I guess it sounds like you really like Israel. It doesn't have anything to do with Donald Trump, because if you want to talk about funding, Joe Biden funded Israel all the way through his presidency and had huge support for Israel against, I think, what most Democrats would consider their wishes. Right?
Yeah,
like there was huge
that.
support under Biden administration. So it doesn't sound like you actually support Trump. It just sounds like you support Israel. And if that's what you just support, then There's not much reason in having this conversation, is there?
Well, I support other things about Trump. This was just the one thing that was the first thing that I mentioned. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but again, you haven't actually shown me how they did anything. Like you just said they unsuccessfully bombed the Iranian nuclear facilities. Like, cool.
Well, I don't think that's unsuccessful. That's when you bomb someone's nuclear facility, that's telling them you're not going to be able to build nukes.
They actually said afterwards that they were actually dead set on building nuclear weapons. They met with leaders of Russia and North Korea to try to gain nuclear weapons, which we're not exactly sure about. They kicked all the watchdogs out, so now they have more of an ability to build nuclear weapons. So they were less likely to produce nuclear weapons before we bombed them, and after we actually created an avenue for them to create nuclear weapons.
You don't know what they were likely to do before or after.
Well, I know what they were doing before, which was not building a nuclear weapon. And I know what they are doing now, which is trying to attain a nuclear weapon. Those are the two things I do know.
You don't know what these countries do behind closed doors.
Sir, they're not doing those behind closed doors. Again, they have come out vocally and very openly saying they're doing it.
Perfect. So would you support dropping more bunker busters?
The last ones didn't do any good. Why would I want to freaking do more?
Let's say it could do good. Let's say,
well, yeah.
hypothetically, it
You
could
know what?
blow
And if
the
I had
whole
a teleport machine where we could just teleport in there and disable it, that would be cool too.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, but that's not reality, and I'd like to live in this world.
You can get a bomb big enough to blow it up.
Then why didn't they use those ones?
Well, using a nukes, like tactical nukes, is a sign of escalation that would lead to possible ramifications and results that are not necessarily wanted in the world right now.
Gotcha. So you're saying that they would have to use a nuclear weapon to do so which would be bad. So in that case, no, I do not want them to do it. Yeah, that would. If there's repercussions of that, then no, I would not want them to do that. That would be sounds like it'd be pretty stupid.
No, and you know what? Just so you know, I don't just like Trump just because I like Israel. You know, I like Trump's stance on the border. You know,
what's his stance on the border?
You know, I've lost people that I've known to drug addictions, and I just feel that securing the border is an important way to stop the importing of drugs and for the safety of the people within America.
Yeah, first of all, 90% of the fentanyl and stuff that's brought in the United States is brought in by American citizens. Second of all, I also believe that we should secure the border. I think that's a great idea. Yeah. The problem is that's not Trump's idea. You do know that, right?
Well, it's not Trump's idea, but he's doing a good job at it.
Well, the only reason he's doing a good job
Biden
at it is because he stopped it from happening before.
And he's stopping it from happening again.
No,
You know,
sir.
I
He
gotta tell
stopped.
you,
No,
like,
sir. You. I think you missed what I said there. The only reason that the border was bad enough for Trump to secure it was because Trump was the reason that it needed to be secured.
Why is that?
Because he stopped the Biden administration from passing any type of legislation by telling the Republicans not to vote for any of his legislation, so he could specifically fix the border. He didn't let Biden fix it. So I'm just saying Biden wanted to secure the border also through legislation. Donald Trump stopped him.
But you could say maybe that's true. I guess maybe Biden just did a real awful job at it, man.
No, he didn't do an awful job at it. He did a great job at it. And Trump said, hey, if you guys fix the border while Biden's president, then I can't tell the American people that I fixed it. And so I need you to make sure it's not fixed so that I can fix it.
Well, what if you deployed the National Guard
What if he deployed the National Guard for what?
to protect the border?
That's not in their ability to do anything. They can't protect the border. They can stand there. They can do like, ancillary
need to
work.
get approval.
Yes, you
from
do.
the House.
You don't, there's no approval process. That's against like the Constitution of the United States. I guess you can get a constitutional Congress and go to town.
I don't know.
I'm aware of that also.
He did nothing
Who did
for the
nothing?
border. Biden did nothing for the border.
Biden had 4 different legislative bills that would have shut down the border immediately. And again, Donald Trump stopped him.
Shut down how?
What do you mean shut down how?
How was he going to shut down the border with this bill?
Which one?
Well, any of the 4.
Any of the 4?
Yeah.
All right, let's go with the last one. Like, what do you mean? He would have freaking. What do you mean? Like, how would it shut down the border? It would have added more border patrol agents. It would have shored up the laws. It would have shut down asylum seeking. It would have freaking put more technology to catch more people. It would have
But he
done
didn't
way
do
more
it.
than what Donald Trump's bill is doing.
But he did nothing.
Sir, are you sundown? How old did you say you were? You said you were 26.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm not gonna just repeat myself over. When you ask what would he have done, and then I tell you what he was trying to do, then you don't get to just say, "Oh, he's doing nothing" over and over and over and over again.
You can't blame Trump for shutting down his plans just because you're unhappy he didn't do anything.
Hold on. I can't blame Trump for Trump's actions. Is that what you're telling me? I can't blame Trump for Trump's actions.
Exactly.
Oh, well, that's spoken like a true MAGA. Where'd you go? All right. Anyways, for someone in the comments who said a physical wall does more than that, Biden's bill had a physical wall in it too. Just thought I'd let you know that. So, anyways, he ran. I mean, honestly, if I was him, that was probably a good call on his part that he was not doing well in this. Anyways, we're going to move on to the next car. Y'all make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much. If you guys like to support the live, I do have super chats open and like to put them up in between callers and talk about them, which is really, really fun. So we can get that on too. Also, I have my live gold little corals too. So if you guys like to support that way, I'd really appreciate it. Thank you so much. We're going to open up these phone lines and we're going to keep this thing going. God, I was so good on that timing on that. Hello, how are you?
How's it going, sir?
It's going great. How old are you?
You online? Yeah, Holden.
How old are you?
Oh, I'm 32. Sorry, I thought you said Holden.
Oh, no. Do you still support Trump?
No, I never supported Trump.
All right, man. Well, I do appreciate that, but I am only looking for Trump supporters right now so I can have some conversations. But I hope you have a good one, all right?
All right, thank you.
Yeah, man. All right, we're going to open up these phone lines again. Keep it moving. Keep it moving. Hello, how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
26.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I got a different question for you. Ready?
No. Do you still support Trump?
Cubs, Brewers.
All right, we're gonna open up these phone lines again. It is very two very easy questions to start this conversation. Hello, how are you?
Howdy, I'm good. How are you, sir?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 25.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Somewhat, yeah, but I'm a bit disgruntled, about the whole ICE thing. I think it's a big infringement of my rights,
Which part?
Well, I don't think it's right that someone's right should be infringed by the national, the whole Portland then, right, with the National Guard and all that. I think it's that reminds me a bit of what I learned in history class. You know what I mean?
No, I do not know what you mean. I mean, I know it's an infringement
Well,
on your rights. It's infringement on multiple rights, but Donald Trump doesn't care about your fucking rights, and he didn't care before, so I don't know why you would still support him.
Well, here's the thing, right? Trump is trying to run it like a corporation. You know what I mean? And corporations are effective, right? That's what there's this great guy I was starting to listen to on Joe Rogan. I think it was Joe Rogan. I forgot my podcast. His name is Teal, something Teal, and they give some great ideas. He's bringing some great points about how to run a country. And I think that if we embrace these new ideas come from these people who are intelligent, I think these are good ideas, good policies that Trump's trying to bring into it's the first time.
Do you think all corporations
in government?
Do you think all corporations are successful?
Well, here's the thing, right?
Well, hold on. Now, here's the thing. Do you think all corporations, sir, do you think all corporations are successful? Yes or no?
I think there are successful ones, and Trump is aligned with the successful ones.
All right, which successful one? Trump Steaks? Trump Airlines?
Palantir, right? That's a really
Trump's
big
University?
one. Raytheon, that's a very good one.
Donald Trump doesn't run Raytheon.
LGBTQ. Lockheed Martin, Boeing.
He doesn't run
Texas
literally
Instruments.
any of
Love
those.
him.
He doesn't run any of those companies.
They just run them, right? But he's affiliated with those companies.
How he's affiliated with companies that are run effectively?
Yeah.
You mean
so
like
all
he
these
owns some
CEOs
stock in it? Because I think I
No,
own
so
some
basically-
stock with some of those
basically,
companies.
hear me out, right? Hear me out. All the 1%, they all gather this little island, and he's on that island, no? Because Trump's a pedophile, right? We all know that. And they're all on this island. They talk about all his politics, all his policies, and therefore we should surrender our rights to these corporations. You know what I mean?
No. I think you're attempting to like make a joke and be funny, but you're just not very good at it.
See, that's a good point.
Yeah, that is a good point.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's a good point.
Yeah.
Okay, well,
Maybe
I appreciate your time.
write your jokes down first next time.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that's a good idea. Maybe practice them someplace else first. You'll get there one day. I believe in you. I'm like motivating Manning. Okay, I believe in you. You can do it next time. All right. All right, we're gonna move on to the next caller. Lord Geotron said, "Not subscribed. Want to debate MAGA." I'm the only person that'll be debating MAGA up here. Okay. So, appreciate. Oh, here he is again. I left a message. I support Trump. I love him. All right. Well, good for you, man. If you keep sending me
insane.
super chats, maybe the phone line will pick you first. I don't know. Thank you so much, Lord, for the super chats. And then Tobin Boomhauer, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Says, yeah, I think that was the attempt. Thank you so much for the super chat. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this every day but Fridays. Hello, how are you?
I'm all right. How are you?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
I'm 32.
Awesome.
Or 33. I turned 33 this year. Sorry.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
To a degree.
What do you mean?
I mean, like any politician, I only support them to a degree. I don't agree 100% with any politician.
Oh, okay. So when I ask you if you still support Trump, sir, I'm asking in regards to the things he's doing versus the things you like that he's doing versus the things that you dislike that he's doing. I'll give you an example, okay? Like currently, right? Like he's in violation of like the First Amendment, the Fourth Amendment, the Fifth Amendment, the 10th Amendment, the 14th Amendment. Like all of those
amendments?
all those huge like violations of like constitutional amendments. Right? I'm asking if you care less about that than some other thing that Trump was doing.
Well, I'd like to ask how you think he's violating those amendments.
Which one do you want to start with?
First Amendment.
Okay, cool. He's been found by 2 district court judges in violation of the First Amendment, one for AP News and one for trying to deport people based off their free speech on student visas. He also got Colbert kicked off the air, used his FCC commissioner to get Kimmel kicked off the air, and then on top of that, he's trying to make it illegal. Hold on, sir. I'm not finished with all of his violations yet.
All right.
Cool, thank you. He's also trying to make it illegal to burn the American flag, which is a protected right under the First Amendment, right? He is literally currently deploying the National Guard to violate people's ability to protest against things that he doesn't like, all right, in cities and places where it's completely peaceful. Donald Trump has had absolutely no regard whatsoever for your First Amendment. What makes you think he's not against it?
Well, first, a couple of things. I do agree that burning the American flag should be a protected right. But I also think that burning any flag, even say like a gay or trans flag, should be completely legal and shouldn't have any backlash from the people, especially if you do it in your own private space.
That is legal.
It is, but you'll receive incredible backlash for doing it in any sort of public street, just like the man who burned the American flag in a public street.
From the government?
No, from the people.
Yeah, you can, sir, if you go and burn an American flag, some people might not like it, okay? I'm not talking about what the general public feels about a certain thing. Okay. I'm talking about the U.S. government limiting your free speech because the First Amendment, okay, is your protection from the government, not from each other.
Yeah, I agree.
Okay. So Donald Trump's that would be a violation of the First Amendment.
Yes, as I was saying, I agree that I think that is an overstep of what he's done. I will say that where on these, you said that peaceful protests, what cities, what locations is he trying to infringe upon people?
We can use Portland for an example right now.
Portland is a violent riot.
There was literally 20 people on average over the last 3 months, and they were all concentrated to less than 4 blocks of
I have
Portland.
seen and heard multiple news stories about people who had just gone to report on it as independent journalists who have been violently attacked by multiple individuals. And these violent attackers were not arrested, were not given due process, were released immediately, while the people defending themselves have been arrested for defending themselves.
Yeah, would these happen to be right-wing freaking podcasters that have every right?
No, independent journalists.
Yeah. You can be a right-wing podcaster and be an independent journalist. Those things are not different from each other.
Okay, so how does those people infringe upon their free speech?
Sir, again,
Not make
sir,
them perfectly
because
okay
other
and release
people, because protesters can't infringe on your First Amendment right. Because the First Amendment protects you from the government.
Here's the thing. They're not infringing upon your First Amendment right because, yes, it's protection from the government. But violently attacking other people for enforcing their First Amendment right is still illegal. It's still a crime.
Sure. So
yet they're not being persecuted or charged.
Cool. Now give me one proof that happened. One source.
There are many sources online.
If there is many sources online, then telling me one should be quite easy.
Okay, there's multiple videos from JD DeLay, who is not a right-wing news broadcaster or sourcer at all.
Yeah, does he? Who the hell is he?
He's an independent. He says multiple times, I don't believe in either side of the government.
Former career criminal to recovery coach.
Okay, why does that matter? He's a recovery coach. That means he's turned himself around. He's become a good person.
Yeah, this is, again, he's just some social media creator who can make up whatever he wants. Okay. How do I have any proof
and what are you?
How can I have any proof exactly what I just described him as? You don't know that anything that I'm saying is fucking true. That's why that's why I tell everyone to data check every single thing that I say, because you don't know what I have to say, which is why I was asking you, how can I prove that anything that he's saying is true? Because mostly what I see is just his Spotify.
Because I have eyes. I've seen the videos. I've seen news articles about of course they're right wing, but the left doesn't usually report on these things. But who are you supposed to believe if two sides are reporting on two different things? One side's not answering to one situation while other side isn't answering to the other. I don't believe in most news sources at all.
Yeah, you do realize that
I have ears.
Well, how about this? You should use those eyes to literally watch the hundreds of live streams that are going on 24 hours a day in Portland.
I have.
Well, then you would see that they were peaceful, because those 24-hour live streams of people in there show that they're completely peaceful.
And it's just as easy for those people live streaming to not show the violent acts. Just like you can see the videos of people performing those violent acts, being aggressive, assaulting people. Those videos exist as well. So if you do your due diligence and watch both sides of that, not just the live streams from the left who are currently doing the protests and violent riots, who are only showing one side of the aspect, you should do your due diligence.
Yeah, right here it says that all claims by this person are being investigated and they're searching for anybody that did it. So your entire thing saying that nobody is being prosecuted is a full lie.
Nobody has been prosecuted. People have been arrested for the assaults of various journalists in the Portland, Oregon riots, but nobody yet has been prosecuted.
It also shows there's also multiple articles showing that there's absolutely no proof to whatever he said. And even though there's no proof of it, the police are still investigating it. And if there's any proof of anything, then they will prosecute someone. Did you ever think that maybe they weren't being prosecuted because it's not fucking true?
That's giving way too much trust to the government that you say that you currently don't trust.
Hold on. Let me get this straight. The Portland police, who I would believe, if they were trying to keep the National Guard out, would be prosecuting everyone possible that would be committing violent acts. And we've seen, especially from the protests that were in June and July, the ones that were actually much larger, the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of arrests that the Portland police did in freaking, in stopping protesters, stopping violent acts. We've seen arrests, prosecutions, jail time being pushed out in June and July, right? From these very, very violent protests. So we already know that the Portland PD doesn't want these protests to get violent and is more than happy to detain, arrest, and prosecute people that do exactly what you're saying they're not doing. And they're currently investigating what's going on with this one person who, again, there's zero proof. Okay. Literally, by the way, for y'all kid can't see this, his video is swarmed by Antifa terrorist group. Okay. That's the name of his video, which is already shows that he obviously is partisan, okay, and doesn't know what the hell he's talking about. All right. But again, they're obviously doing that. So what you're saying is I trust some dude on Instagram, okay, not the people with the known track record of detaining, arresting, and prosecuting these exact people.
Again, I trust my eyes. I trust my ears. I've seen the footage of the
Ever
man
wonder
who
why
was
the market
assaulted
tends to
twice,
stall?
once with bear mace, who defended himself and knocked out the person who assaulted him. I've read his first story account of being arrested while the assaulters who threatened him and assaulted him, being released by the police before he was detained. Now, admittedly, he put them on the ground, but
yeah,
I'm
I'm watching this video. None of that fucking happened. I'm literally watching the video. The dude is walking down the fucking street being unharmed. Nobody's bothering him. Nobody's touching him whatsoever.
I'm not talking about JD Delay. I'm not talking about him.
I want you to see. No, I want everyone out there to show how bad this guy's fucking lying. I want you guys to see it. Okay. I think this is actually really important to watch people like this actually try to twist this shit into a violent fucking protest. Okay. This is what. See, no. See, it's your turn to be quiet. Thank you. Awesome. So this is the violent swarm protest. Okay, as these masked Antifa agents. Okay, he's shaking hands with them. Okay, these people in mass with black hats. He's shaking hands with them, having full conversations with them. All right, hanging out. Talking to him. They might be recording him. He's talking right back to him. No violence anywhere on this entire screen. It's just people hanging the fuck out, protesting. This is the video where it says he was swarmed by violent Antifa protesters. Okay, that this guy is fucking claiming. All right, we can go to any part of the video. Yep, there's the guy in the chicken suit that you guys were all talking about. Oh, how horrific is this? This is so violent that a guy in a chicken suit is there. Dude, give me a fucking break, bro. This is not a violent fucking protest. All right? Why do you want this to be a violent protest so bad?
You're misrepresenting the video. As JD Delay himself stated, he left before things got too violent. He came with personal bodyguards. He left before things got violent.
You can see the background. No one's being violent. Okay?
And you're again completely dismissing the fact that there are other people who have suffered violence from these protests.
Then give me one.
I don't know their exact names. I don't know their user handles. I'm not perpetually online.
Gotcha. So what you're telling me is somebody that you don't know their name, don't know who they are, don't know what their background is, don't know if they're actually being honest, don't know whether the video is doctored, has some video somewhere online. By that same logic, Sasquatch is also real, and so is the Church of the Flying Spaghetti Monster. Also, by the way, the Earth is flat. Because all of those things have videos online fitting the exact same qualifications that you just stated.
Wow, what a fucking straw man, dude.
That is not a straw man. That is a comparison. Learn the difference.
Oh, you're making wild, unbased claims about my personal beliefs because you don't want to do the research and find these other videos, find these other people. This just shows how little
Not only do I want to find the people, I asked you who they were. But you couldn't tell me because I'm not perpetually online. Sir, what I am telling you, okay, is your research skills are zero. Okay? What I do, Okay. When I try to find information to find out if something is true or not, I back it by source after source after source after source after source. Okay. I want to see, hey, okay, you say there's violence. This one person says that. Let's see if we can find video of that exact same time. See what happened there. See if there was any police reports. Were the police called? Was there data on that? Was there any arrest that happened during that time? Where, where did this violence spike from? You know what I'm saying? Was it like what happened? I actually do my research. I want to know who, what, where, when, why, and have all the sources backed up by other sources to make sure that it is true. You just said you were just swiping through fucking TikTok and just saw a video and like, this must be true, and just kept going. Didn't look at all.
I mean, I take offense. I don't use TikTok. Either way, I only brought up JD Delay because he's one of the few actual YouTubers that I subscribe to because he is very impartial. But again, he's kind of been poisoned on the left because of how they've reacted to various recent events. Then again, I consider myself a centrist, a middle of the road kind of guy.
You can consider yourself all you want, whatever you want. That doesn't change anything, sir. What I want is proof. Okay.
Okay.
And what I have is proof and a fuck ton of it. Okay. That these protests are overwhelmingly nonviolent. Like outside of very, very, very isolated incidents that have happened over the last few months, of course, going back to the larger ones, like again, in like June and July, where there was some violent acts that happened and all of those people were arrested were arrested and then charged afterwards. Okay, where there were incidents, all right, but all the ones after that have been overwhelmingly peaceful, including the ones that have been going on lately, which again have an average of about 20 people, and Donald Trump decided to send the National Guard in for 20 people to guard an ICE facility, all right?
I think you're equating my belief that there are violent actors in the protests to me stating that everyone there is violent, which is not what I'm trying to say.
No, sir,
I'm
you're
saying that the police are failing.
Again, you've shown no proof of that.
All right.
What is your proof that the police...
I'd ask you to sit here and let me pull up proof, but I don't want to waste your time like that.
Okay, what would your proof be? Some other YouTuber?
Again, I'd have to pull up articles, find all of that stuff on short notice because I wasn't sure what we were going to talk about here. I'm not going to sit here with 20 to 50 fucking articles loaded up just so we have something to discuss. Or
sir, I didn't need you to pull up 14 articles. All I'm asking you to do is if you're going to tell me that there's proof, I want proof. Okay, because again, like I said, I can pull up proof. Okay, all day long that says that you're lying. Okay, and it's not hard, right? So if I can pull up all of this proof that you're not, what you're saying isn't true, then I would like to know proof, that it's wrong. That's all I'm asking. I don't think that that's, I don't think that that's unfair. What I do have proof of is other YouTubers, right, that you can see on there and people from national media, right, that were shot in their cars with rubber bullets, right? Except for they were taping the whole time and you can actually see it. I see videos of ICE going out and freaking dropping people. I see people in Chicago, right, where the ICE is going into buildings, ripping children, naked children out, zip tying them and laying them on the freaking sidewalk. Okay. I see all the violence that ICE is doing, and I see the violence that protesters are doing when they do it, right? But making it sound like for some reason that they're overwhelmingly violent because of isolated incidents is a joke. And to say that Donald Trump needed to bring the National Guard trying to suppress those protesters' First Amendment rights due to those nonviolent protests is a joke. And even if they were violent, right, to a certain degree, even if they were violent, right, now we run into a 10th Amendment issue, all right, because these governors and these mayors and these citizens of the city are saying that they don't need that the police are overwhelmingly able to handle the violence that is happening in these things, right? So now we have a First Amendment and a 10th Amendment violation all in one shot. Not to mention very questionable things when it comes to possibilities of federalizing the National Guard in non-wartime.
It's called the Insurrection Act of, I think it was 1882.
He has not invoked the Insurrection Act.
I'm still, that is an option on the table.
But he hasn't done that. Okay. So if you're saying that he has to invoke the Insurrection Act in order to federalize the National Guard, then what you're saying is what he's doing right now is illegal.
Potentially, yes.
So why are you supporting him?
Because I think he's better than the other candidate.
Oh, okay. So how is he better than Kamala Harris?
Because Kamala Harris, when asked what she would change about Joe Biden's policies and plans, said that she wouldn't change anything. And last I checked, Joe Biden had an abysmally low approval rating.
That's not what she said.
Oh, that's exactly what she said.
That is not what she said. That wasn't even the question that she was asked.
Then I guess my ears and memory must be failing me. Well,
what you're remembering, okay, is all the people that have repeated it incorrectly. Okay, not repeating what she actually said. Okay, they asked her. Sorry, what did you actually say? She said. I apologize.
Oh, I believe she said that when asked what she would change from, in her term compared to what Joe Biden had done, what policies she would change, and she said she wouldn't change any of them.
Would she have done anything different? That's what she was asked, which is different contextually. Like truly, it is. Okay. Because what would you have changed means like, hey, if you had a crystal ball and the ability to do anything, would you have changed it? Right. That's not what she was asked. She was asked based off the context of what happened. All right. Would you have done anything different with the information that you had at that time? All right. And I think that those are two very, very different questions. All right. But then she proceeded after that. All right. To talk about all the things that she would do differently if she was to have another term. Right. And so she made it very, very clear that she was separating herself from Biden and that she had very different policy ideals. But when you're the vice president of the United States, it is kind of difficult to freaking just be like, yeah, my boss fucking sucks. I mean, I wouldn't do that to my boss.
Joe Biden kind of sucked as a president?
Towards the end, he kind of did. But during his whole presidency, no, he did a lot of really great things as a president. He had his downfalls too. Yeah, he could have communicated a lot better. He could have actually talked about the things that he was doing a lot better instead of having to have people come out and actually say them for them, right? But his policies, a lot of his policies were some of the best policies the United States has seen.
Oh, give me some examples.
The largest infrastructure bill in American history. $1.1 trillion.
The economy is currently in the shitter.
Why? How was the economy in the shitter?
The economy was constantly in the shitter his entire term.
Really? We had the lowest unemployment rate in American history. We had record high job creation. We had record high stock market during his term. All right. And then after the rise in inflation that happened due to, COVID and overspending due to COVID by both Trump and Biden. All right. Then he saw the fastest reduction in inflation and the fastest recovery of the economy of any industrialized nation on the planet.
If there's such a huge reduction in inflation, why is everything still inflated in price?
Because we'd have to have negative inflation for that. Okay. And we haven't had negative inflation in a long time.
As well as, of course, there's the lowest unemployment rate, ever, when somehow the job market is still abysmal. It has been since the COVID pandemic happened.
How has the job market been abysmal?
Well, I'm lucky because I've worked from home throughout the entire experience, but I've known people in my own personal life who've not been able to get a job for the past 4+ years.
Yeah, sir. And that's totally fine. I understand that everybody knows somebody that something happened to that they know a story about, but how is the job market abysmal?
If multiple people that I know have lost very low skill jobs and have been unable to get another low skill job, how is that not bad for the American people?
Maybe they sucked at their job. I don't know the anecdotal stories of the people that you're talking about. Okay. Like I don't know. I didn't go to work with them every day. Maybe they went to work today and they were stealing and they got fired of their job for stealing and then they didn't get hired from a new job because the new job didn't want somebody who steals. I don't know. You know what I'm saying? Like I don't know the individual circumstance.
I'm not trying to get into the anecdotals of the individuals, but if this is such a common trend that there's memes and TikToks about how impossible it is to get a job in today's market, doesn't that say something about society at large that, yeah, we may be saying that publicly that, oh yeah, the job market's so good right now, but if everybody is joking about how bad the job market is, isn't it kind of the unsold truth?
I thought you didn't watch TikTok.
I don't.
Oh, sorry. You
My
said you
wife
didn't
does.
watch. You said
I
you
don't.
didn't watch TikTok, and then next thing you told
don't.
me is that is that
But I
is that
do-
there's
I
all
do-
these TikToks about
I do get
something.
memes.
Just
I
out of
do,
curiosity.
like I said, my wife shows me fucking TikToks every so often. I apologize for cursing. My wife shows me TikToks occasionally. I see memes online about it on occasion.
Sir, just to let
But
you know, and
memes
just to give you a little hint, and this is like really not to be a dick. If you're getting your job numbers from memes,
Oh.
all right, then you're not very well researching your job data. Okay.
Oh no, I am not. I'm currently working. This doesn't really affect me as a person. I'm just trying to understand here because memes are a reflection of our society.
They're a parody on our society. Okay.
Yeah.
Which is what
And
they
so
are.
if
But
we're
that's not
parodying
job
the fact
data.
that people,
But
if we're parodying the fact that people can't find jobs, isn't that a reflection of a lot of people in today's society?
it
Maybe
could
not
be.
the upper middle class aren't having this problem, but the lower class are having a problem
Or it could
finding
just or it could just be people making jokes and memes. Okay.
it could.
But the problem
But,
is,
you know,
sir,
parody
look,
reflects reality. You know
what,
that,
what I'm
right?
telling you this, I do this for like 2.5 hours every single night. Okay.
Uh-huh.
And I talk to Trump supporters every single night for 2.5 hours every single night. It means that I've talked to a lot of Trump supporters. Okay. Like a lot for like 2 years. Right.
Mhm.
Here's my issue with your theory. Okay. And it's not you. This happens all the time. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody always tells me how the economy was so bad for everybody else. All right. Just like you're telling me right now. You're telling me, hey, like Paulie, I did just fine because I X, Y, and Z, but I knew 2-3 people or whatever who said that it was bad for them. Okay.
Oh no,
And that's fine. That's fine. Okay. I'm not saying that what your story is not true. I don't know whether it's true or not. Okay. But every single person who ever tells me how bad the economy was under Biden, they were always working. They were doing fine economically. All right. They were doing just fine. Was there a cost of living, issue? Yes, there was a cost of living issue for everyone. Did prices go up? Yes, and we know why that is. Okay.
Mhm.
But everybody that I talked to who said it was bad, it was always bad for somebody else. It was never bad for them. Okay? And I really do feel after a while, you know what I'm saying? I really do feel after a while that a bunch of people are just being told the economy is bad when they're doing just fine. Okay? Is there problems with our economy? Of course there is. Okay. Did we have a cost of living issue? Absolutely. Did we have record high inflation due to, again, COVID and the overspending from COVID? 1000% we did. Those are all very, very true statements.
Yeah.
Okay. Those are all very, very true statements. Okay. But saying that we're in this like horrific economic like spot, it's just
insane.
it's just not true. It's insane. It's just not true. Okay. It's not. We had very, very good economic numbers under Biden. What we did have was a very high inflation. All right. Which was caused due to, COVID, right? Everything shut down, hard to get things. Demand goes up, price goes down, or price goes up, demand goes down, prices go up. You know what I'm saying? Sorry, I said that backwards. Supply goes down, demand goes up. There we go. You get a rise in prices, right? We had record high spending, right? Donald Trump spent added $8.4 trillion to our national debt, all right, in his first term, all right? 4.3 of which was just COVID spending. And then Biden came in right after that with the American Rescue Plan, right? And spent another $2.4 trillion in debt trying to recover us from COVID. All right. Which was not good for us on inflation. That was a bad thing, right? We also had, a rise in fuel costs. We had Donald Trump's negotiated OPEC Plus deal. We had the war between Russia and Ukraine, right? We had lots of things that happened, right? That made the price of goods go up and made inflation high. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And that sucks. And we didn't have real wages meet that inflation, right? It's still catching up, right?
I agree.
But blaming Biden for that, okay, and saying that, Biden had a failed presidency because he got the presidency after COVID, after this huge economic disaster, since the worst economic disaster since we've had since the 2008 housing bubble burst and recession that we had, saying that it was bad just because he got it after that is crazy. And then not recognizing all the things he did to actually help improve the nation and help improve, our economy It's just ignorant. I'm sorry, not you, but I'm just saying, like, having that idea that like Biden did bad because of that is just wrong, man.
I get you. And I'm not trying to say Biden is just bad because of that. I was watching a bit earlier, and you said that Biden tried to propose a bill to close the borders, which I agree. He did. He absolutely did. As a very much a last-ditch effort right before the end of his terms to try and garner more favor for his party.
His first immigration bill was put to the House 6 days after he took office.
Okay, and remember, this is right after the Democratic Party pretty much shut down all of Trump's work to try and close off the borders. They fought him tooth and nail for his entire first term. Incorrect.
Actually, the Biden administration deported more people than Donald Trump did in his first term.
Okay.
Yeah. His first immigration bill that would have reformed immigration and actually stopped a lot of the problems that we had was presented to Congress 6 days after he took office. Not in a last ditch effort, like at the end of his term to his party to save face. 6 days after he took office, it was shot down by Republicans. And then he had another bill about a year later that was again shot down by Republicans. And then we go to the third bill, which was already in work. All right. It was actually put up to the House floor in, I believe, May or June of 2023. Okay. And had been in work for months. Okay. By Republicans who were the main writers of it, okay, which would have solved over 90% of our immigration problems, all right, and it had like 95% support in the Senate, all right, and Donald Trump called them up and said, hey, if you pass this bill, then Biden will fix immigration, and if he fixes immigration, then I can't run on immigration. So I need you guys to shoot down the bill you wrote, all right, shoot down the bill you wrote, all right, in order for me to be able to run this against Biden, all right.
Okay.
That's a problem, sir. You don't get credit.
I agree. That is a problem.
You don't get credit, okay, for fixing the border if you're the reason it was still broken.
I agree. Again, Trump tried to pass legislation to put up a wall. It was shut down multiple times.
That passed. His immigration bill to build a wall passed in his first term.
Yes, it may have passed, but the budget for it wasn't.
The budget was passed.
It was shut down by other processes.
No, it was not. The budget for it was passed, and that money had to go to the border in some way, shape, or form. So much did it pass, and so much was it locked in that when the Biden administration came in and actually didn't want to build this new wall that Donald Trump was doing, because honestly, Donald Trump's wall sucked ass and was already falling apart, and people were just destroying it and running straight through it. He had to use that border money on border walls. So what he did is he ended up fixing actual gaps that we already had in the border wall that was already down there. Because again, we already have a border wall. It just had a bunch of gaps in it that need to be fixed. And so that's what Biden used the border bill for. And again, let me also remind you that Biden's border bill that was shot down by Trump at the end had more money in the border bill to fund that border wall again. So Biden would have actually added to the border wall funding with the bill that Donald Trump stopped.
All right.
But let's also be clear that border walls don't fix our border issue.
I agree and disagree. Having a wall is a good idea. It's not a perfect solution by any means.
Sir, if you have a fence around your house, can I jump that fence?
You can, but if it's a 10-foot tall fence with armed guards, you're not going to.
With armed guards, that's a good point, right? If there was armed guards on the fence, then that would be helpful. All right. That was the problem. All right. Is that Donald Trump's wall didn't come with the armed guards. Okay. That's what we needed. All right. Walls are fine if you have armed guards in order to freaking man the whole thing. All right. But that's what Biden's bill would have done. It would have built the wall and added enough Border Patrol agents to be able to actually patrol it correctly.
Counterpoint. When the National Guard of Texas were deployed by the Texas government to defend the border, why did Biden try to shut them down then?
Biden actually didn't try to shut them down. They were actually sued independently. But Biden did not want it to happen because the Texas National Guard has no authority or jurisdiction there. Even right now, when they send Texas National Guard down there, they're just doing ancillary actions. They're not actually doing law enforcement action on the southern border. They're not legally allowed to.
Either way, again, I disagree with a lot of points that Trump has done. I still think he was a better candidate option than Kamala Harris, who, at least everything that I've seen, I may not have seen everything, ran on trying to get the popular opinion of Zoomers and I think it was like Brat Girl Summer, things like that, things that have no place in politics. I won't agree with everything that Trump did in his campaigning either. But from what I personally saw from Kamala's side, Kamala's campaigning, the fact that she didn't get voted into the position of being the candidate really rubbed me the wrong way.
Well, first of all, she did. Second of all, that is a really, really bad point. Okay? Because saying that you are not going to vote for a better candidate, all right, because you don't like the bylaws of the party they run for, which, by the way, is the same bylaw that's in the Republican Party, okay? But saying that you don't like, you're going to vote for a better candidate because you don't like the bylaws of the Democratic Party is wild, okay? That is a crazy thought process to say like, oh, like this person's obviously better than this person, which she was significantly better. It's not even in the ballpark, right? She's significantly better, right? To say like, hey, I have this one person who's better, but hey, the Democratic bylaws, I don't like the way they're written on how we select candidates after an open primary has happened, right? I don't like the way that happened, so I'm not going to vote for that person. That's crazy. She didn't write the bylaws. She didn't have anything to do with the way the rules are ran, right? She just showed the hell up. All right. But the rules say that you go into an open convention if that president is incapacitated or no longer able to run or doesn't run after the open primary, like the popular primary, and then it goes to an open convention where those delegates that you vote for then get to vote on the candidate because that's what the delegate's job is. And anybody could have ran against her, but they chose not to because of the finances in which she already had, based off the fact that freaking she was already on the primary ticket. And so therefore she had access to all of Biden's money, right, from him running, and nobody else in the race could possibly catch up with only 107 days to freaking run. Not to mention the fact that I don't think anybody wanted to run a 107-day campaign because it's literally like a suicide mission, right? But then to blame her just because you don't like laws is crazy. Like, that's nuts. And also saying you don't like her Kamala Harris like going on Brat Girl Summer, but you have no problem with Donald Trump going on Theo Vaughn is crazy.
Like I said, I don't agree with a lot of the things that Trump did on his campaigning.
Yeah, but you're pointing it out for Kamala Harris and you're not pointing out with Trump, which means that you do care.
Saying I don't agree with one thing does not mean I agree with another.
Sir, I'm asking you why you thought Trump was better than Kamala Harris. You're saying Kamala Harris was worse because she was doing the exact same thing that Trump is doing. Okay? You can't say one person is better than the other because they did the same thing. That doesn't make any sense. But that's what you just did.
What was it that you mentioned that Trump did that was the exact same as Brat Girl Summer?
Theo Vaughn, Rogan, Schultz, freaking you name it.
Okay, which, if I remember right,
Sir,
Joe
why do you give a fuck if they go on podcasts? Why do you give a fuck if a presidential candidate goes on a podcast? Why do you care?
I don't. I didn't watch any of that.
Why do you care? But then why'd you bring it up? Why do you care?
Well, because the Brat Girl Summer thing wasn't a podcast. It was a complete convention event.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. So gotcha. Cool. So I think I got it straight. Donald Trump talks about being a dictator, has an entire plan to friggin' install an authoritarian fascist government in Project 2025, which he's like following to the T now and even bragging about following it to a T. All right. The person that in his first term friggin' shrunk the middle class, caused a recession. All right. Tried to stick the military against its own people. That guy is somehow better than somebody because he went on Brat Girl Summer. Got it.
For being a dictator and wanting to instate a dictatorial government, and he hasn't yet implemented that.
Oh, he's just trying to implement it. Yeah. He hasn't gotten there yet. See, fascism isn't built in a day. Okay? Takes time. There's build up.
Oh, yeah, no. I've been watching it take place for the last 10 so years.
No, you haven't.
On both sides.
No, you haven't.
Yeah, I have.
No, you haven't.
Is mostly fascist. Billions of dollars of infrastructural damage that Antifa caused after the George
That's
Floyd
not
murder.
fascist.
The constant dehumanizing and demonization of the opposition, not platforming them, not letting them speak or have a voice, not allowing for open political.
You don't know what
discussion
fascism
or
is, do
debate.
you?
I know exactly what fascism is.
Well, you're
Fascism
describing a whole bunch of stuff that is not fascism. Okay? You're describing a whole bunch of shit you don't like, but that's not fascism. Fascism is,
dehumanizing and demonizing your opposition is a fascist notion.
Sir, if that was the case, then every political person in every country on the planet would be fascist. You don't know what fascism is, okay? Fascism is not what you don't like, okay? That is not what that is, all right? So let's
You're saying that hold on, please. Let me ask a question. You're saying that every political person in the world dehumanizes their opposition to such a degree that supporters of said person want to kill the opposition.
Yeah. How did the left demonize someone on the right, or dehumanize someone on the right?
I don't know. Why do we have active
No,
assassins on many
don't.
people
I don't
against
know
the right?
me. You said, okay, that both sides are doing it. When did the left dehumanize a politician on the right?
They do it every day in the news towards
Cool.
Trump.
How?
That's why there was 2 assassination attempts.
All right, cool. How did they dehumanize Trump?
I mean, you were doing it literally right here on the stream by saying that he was a dictator, saying that he was a fascist.
Those aren't dehumanizing terms.
Calling him a Nazi.
I didn't call him a
because
Nazi.
we're currently.
I didn't call. Hold on. I didn't call him a Nazi. Okay. And being a dictator and being a fascist are adjectives. That's not dehumanizing. Saying that you're a fascist, sir, fascism is a political ideology. That would be like me calling you a Republican and you saying that that's dehumanizing.
Yes, but you have to understand in today's political climate that calling someone a fascist is equating them to most other people's idea of a fascist, which is a Nazi.
Sir, your lack of education is not my problem. Okay? Your misunderstanding of what fascism is not my problem. All right? I am not going to choose to not use words, okay, that mean exactly what they mean because your lack of understanding of them.
I agree. I'm not going to use words in that manner.
Sure, you should use words in the manner in which they were designed to be used.
I agree. Everyone should do that.
Okay. But when Donald, so let me get this straight. So when the left says Donald Trump is a fascist, which is a political ideology, which he very much falls under, okay, very, very much so falls under. You think that is the same as when Donald Trump literally tries to say that the left is a domestic terrorist group that needs to be eradicated.
Now, I don't recall him saying that about the left.
Oh,
I do recall him saying
at
that
Charlie
about
Kirk's funeral.
Antifa.
No, he said that at Charlie Kirk's funeral, and he said it multiple times since.
Okay, I didn't watch that.
Oh, okay.
That is my bad. I didn't watch that. I didn't know he said that.
Okay.
I'll probably go watch that after this.
You probably should. Okay. You probably should. All right. Because he is the one, again, Antifa is not a group. Let's start there. Okay. So you can't designate a group that's not a group something. Okay. Doesn't work that way. All right. But Donald Trump is currently dehumanizing immigrants. He's dehumanized trans people. And now he's dehumanizing the left. Okay. The left is not dehumanizing for him for describing his language. He just doesn't like that. Okay. And he gets all up in his fifis when people describe him exactly how he's described, how he's acting. And then his followers get all upset. All right. When he is described exactly how he's acting. My suggestion is, okay, is that if you don't want that to happen, then you should stop support the person that's acting exactly like that. All right. Instead of complaining about the adjective that I use, all right, to describe someone, which is a very accurate adjective, again, all right, you should be wondering how that adjective actually directly fits that. All right. But I'm going to move on to the next caller because I think we've exhausted this one, but I hope you have a wonderful day. All right.
Yeah, you too.
All
Thanks
right.
for talking with me.
Yep. Bye. All right, y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. We do this every day for Friday. And also make sure you turn on those notifications so you know when I post new content, when I go live, all that sort of stuff. Also, please consider joining the Discord. That's also a great way to know when I go live. There's a notification that'll go out and stuff like that. We're going to run through a couple super chats real quick, and then we're going to move on to the next caller. So I hope you, thank you guys so much for being here. Lord said I left a voicemail. Dude, I don't know how to explain this more. If you're here, I'll answer the phone. If not, I won't. Frost King wants me to be weary of salmonella. I appreciate that. Rainbow says they want it to be a violent protest because then Daddy Trump can use the Insurrection Act to send the military into these places. Stay peaceful, guys. Exactly. And if you're out there, okay, and you're protesting, be peaceful. If you're not, you're feeding directly into Donald Trump's hand. Okay? Be peaceful. Keep being peaceful. Okay? Keep being peaceful. Thank you so much for that. Brian, thank you so much for the $5. Says, to the right minds, don't stoop down to their level. They will meet you there and jump you because they are experienced at their stupidity. We keep it pretty civil and right up top up here. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. Yeah, lovely. He claimed there's proof, but have to search it. Yeah, exactly. Karen, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. I really appreciate that. Said, I love how you are a truth defender and prompt people to do their due diligence. Everybody should be researching what I'm saying. If you're not researching what I'm saying, then you are not doing your due diligence. Okay? I am some guy you watch on YouTube or TikTok. All right? Go research the things that I'm saying. Right? And do that with everybody. Okay? Do that with the news. Do that with any YouTuber you see. Go research their stuff. Okay? Please and thank you. Thank you so much, Karen. I really appreciate that. Heathen, thank you so much for the $20 super chat. Said, I love how Trump supporters think nothing is going to happen to them through all this BS. They have no idea what's coming. Yes, they're exempt. Donald Trump actually checks your voting record prior to having ICE deport you. You didn't know that? True story. I've seen it happen. All right. Trump specifically does it. All right. Trump actually comes out and does it himself. He comes up and he's like, yep. Oh, he voted for me. I can see it right here. Let that guy out of the zip ties. Thank you so much, Heathen. I appreciate that. Patty, thank you so much for the $5. And Shay with the huge $50 super sticker. Thank you so much, Shay. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. I really, really appreciate that. Can I get big WG chat for all the donators, especially Shay, Heathen, and Karen with the huge super chats going on this evening? Again, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. We do this every single night but Friday, so I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you guys so much. As you can see, I like to put the super chats in between callers, so if you'd like to support, that's a great way. I need one more coral over here on TikTok also, so I can actually move past this one. I also have my pay links in my bio, Cash App, Venmo, PayPal. They're all at Polypolitics, just like my name. So if you'd like to support that way, that is also great. And thank you guys so much for being here. Really appreciate you guys. Phone lines are back open so we can keep this thing going. So I hope you guys are doing great. I hope you guys are doing awesome today. What was I getting ready to check? I was getting ready to check something. Hello, how are you?
Hey, I'm good. And yourself?
I'm doing excellent. How old are you?
I'm 28. Oh, 29 now.
Awesome. Do you still support? What is up with people not knowing how old they are today?
It was just my birthday recently. I'm sorry.
Yeah, you're like the third person who's told me it was just recently my birthday. Shrugs, thank you so much. You're like the third person who told me it's just their birthday and don't know how old they are. That's wild. But anyways, do you
Okay.
still support Trump?
I do.
Cool. What's on your mind?
I guess the main thing everyone's thinking right now would be the ceasefire.
You think that's the main thing people are thinking?
In the
Alright.
current news of events, I mean, it was talked about a lot more yesterday and today.
Okay.
I'm hoping for the lives of everyone and just for the good of the world, it goes through. I mean,
Yeah,
I'm
me and you
hoping.
both.
I know, and I think that brings to the one of the things that was really why I support him. I'm a military veteran. I was in the Marines for 4 years. I think he's viewed as a more powerful leader and probably a little more effective. I think Joe Biden couldn't step up to the plate, mainly because one, his age, but I'll give him a pass just because he was pretty, he was getting up there in age, but also he was viewed as weak by other countries. And that's kind of the reason why
Yeah.
I support Trump a lot
So,
more.
first of all, no, he was not. Okay, he was not viewed as weak by other countries. Donald Trump is very much viewed as weak by other countries. Okay. But I will say in this specific circumstance, okay, I do wish Biden had stood up to Bibi Netanyahu more, right? And I was actually very
Okay.
critical of Joe Biden doing that in his first term in just, funding Israel and doing all of those things. I thought that was actually horrible that Biden did that. I think a lot of Democrats did that.
Yeah.
I think that was a lot of reason why he lost a lot of the status that he did. But let's also be very clear that Donald Trump has been simping to Bibi Netanyahu since he took office also. He is
Yeah.
just now starting to actually grow some balls. I'm glad he actually did. Okay. But you don't
Good.
get to just be weak for the last 8 months and then all of a sudden now, actually stand up to him and be like, he's been strong the whole time. He's a super strong leader. No, he finally decided to stand up. And I hope, I really hope that this actually goes through and actually, for the lives of the people and especially for the lives of, the innocent Israelis and the innocent Palestinians, the civilians that are not part of this. I really do hope that the hostages are able to be released, and I hope that this fires. But we're really way, way, way too early into this to see if there's, any type of actual lasting peace that's actually coming out of this.
Yes. Okay. What was I going to say? One of the biggest things why I viewed, well, once again, I was in Marines. One of
you
the
for your
biggest things
service.
that I really thank you for your support was probably the withdrawal from Afghanistan. I think it was executed poorly. I think the loss of life was not needed there. I think abandoning allies and equipment, which costs a lot of money, was just a horrible thing. And then another thing, I know you said he wasn't viewed weak. He was viewed as slow to response, like his cognitive function wasn't there. And I think people, mainly the left, the Democrats, when it was brought up to question, they would just kind of glaze over it or say, no, he's just on meds, or like, oh, it's not really like that.
Yeah, but sir, you're talking
then
about
when-
the last 6 months of his presidency. You're not talking about the entirety of his presidency.
I think a most good chunk of the first, no, I would say probably the good last 3 years of his presidency.
Oh, that's
everything
complete
past
bullshit.
The first year.
That's complete
I
bullshit.
don't know. It is.
That's sir, if you believe that, then I don't know what to tell you. Donald Trump passed some of the most meaningful legislation in the history of our fucking country in the first 3 years of his presidency. What are you talking about?
Okay.
Sir, if
And
you
then-
want to give
Yeah.
at the end, Joe Biden was kind of failing and probably shouldn't have been president mentally. I'll give you that. If you want to tell me he's too old,
Yeah.
then I also agree with that. Donald Trump's also too old to be president right now, okay? And Donald Trump is doing a lot of the things that freaking people were making fun of freaking Joe Biden for doing back in the day. You want to talk about, oh, he can't walk straight. I watched Donald Trump walk down the red carpet truck going to meet Putin and was swerving all over the place. I saw his teleprompter go off and him freeze and just stand there and couldn't do anything, right? I'm watching Donald Trump freaking literally hold up saying, this is a trade deal that I just signed with blank papers. Okay?
Yeah.
Blank papers, all right? Donald Trump is doing things that if Biden had done it, you would have completely lost your mind, said this guy wasn't willing to be ready to be president. He was completely old and senile. You guys would have been saying all of that stuff about Trump, about these things if they were Biden.
Yeah.
But when Trump somehow they're good. So that's bullshit, okay? If you want to talk the
What-
end,
yeah.
that's fine. We can talk the end.
Mhm.
The end was probably not the best for Biden. But let's also be very clear that the pullout from Afghanistan, all right,
Okay.
was negotiated by Trump.
Okay.
Okay. He was told when he was negotiating that, by the generals, by General Milley, by General Kelly, that if that plan that Donald Trump executed was too fast, all right, and if that plan was executed the way that it was supposed, that way that Trump had planned it, that there would be loss of life and would be loss of equipment because there was no possibility of getting people out of Afghanistan that quickly. All right. By the time Joe Biden got in office, 95% of the pullout was already done. All right. 95% of the personnel were already done. The entire deal was negotiated, and he was already on a timeline and had less than 3 months to pull us completely out of Afghanistan. All right. Which he tried to extend multiple times, but I think he was able to get one extension done. But let's also remember that the people that attacked and killed those soldiers and people on leaving Afghanistan, those are people that were released by Trump under his negotiation with the Taliban at Camp David.
Yeah. So once again, I understand exactly what you're saying, but as a president, as a leader of one of the greatest nations in the world, probably one of the most powerful nations, it's your job to step up and make it right. If you have to, let's just say, get something from the top of a building, you have a shaky ladder, you have the choice either to climb that ladder or taking the time to try to fix it the best you can. I know it's not an easy feat. I'm accepting that. I'm saying it wasn't an easy job for anyone, even if it was for Trump. If Trump would have stayed in office, he would have got the job done and done it correctly. He would have made it happen.
Incorrect.
And that's something, that finesse that Biden
never
really got down.
Sir.
After you.
Sir, hold on. What you don't understand is 95% of the job was already done by Trump, and it was already done incorrectly. You can't say he would have done it correctly. Donald Trump had already done it incorrectly. We were already at a skeleton crew in Afghanistan as far as troops before Biden left office. What we needed, was a slower pullout in order to actually freaking make sure that all equipment and all people got out safely. That was already done incorrectly before Biden got into office. And I'm not saying that there's no blame on Joe Biden. If you're the president, there's some blame on you just for being the leader, right? 100% there is, okay? All right? But if I freaking execute 95% of a plan, and I already fuck up the plan like royally, and then you come in at the last 5%, I'm sorry, sir. I don't blame you for 100% of it. You know what I'm saying?
It's not 90%. It was probably like close to 70. And it was on the way
closer to
done.
95.
It wasn't 95% done. There's no way in hell that would have happened. It was just too sloppy, too unorganized. It definitely wasn't close to 95.
Sir, by the time Biden had gotten in office, 95% of the troops had already been pulled out. Okay? The equipment was still there. All right? Which means in order to actually secure it, we would have had to send more troops back into Afghanistan. All right? Which
it should have been done. It should have been done to get the proper pullout.
Sir, that's so awesome in retrospect.
Yeah.
Okay?
I know.
That's hindsight is 2020.
It is.
Okay, hindsight's 2020, and that's great. Okay, but there was 2,500 troops left in Afghanistan by the time Biden took office. The entire point, and which was very supported by the American people, was for us to get out of Afghanistan. All right.
Yeah.
So redeploying troops, which Donald Trump is currently trying to do, by the way, redeploying troops into Afghanistan, could have had super negative side effects also. What if on the redeploy of those troops, then more troops were killed? Then you would have blamed him for putting more troops in, right?
Once again, and this is where I think we're not going to find a common ground. I think prioritizing evacuating American citizens and the Afghan allies, it's horrible what happened to them when they were left behind. We kind of owe a commitment to them. When you enlist, you kind of have a duty to serve and protect the United States and all the citizens. To me,
Incorrect.
that extends to the American citizens. No, but to me personally,
No.
I think.
Well,
a lot
to
of
you
people would
personally,
also
but that's
agree.
not what your enlistment says.
Okay.
Well, what does your enlistment
All right.
say?
Protect the Constitution, a bunch of other stuff. I can't quote it right now.
A bunch of other stuff to
I'm not
support and
looking
defend
it
the
up. I'm
Constitution of the United States. Okay,
Yeah.
that's what it says. All right, it's not to support the president. It's not to support the American people. It's to support and defend the Constitution. All right.
Okay.
And
All right.
obey the orders of the president and the officers appointed over me. Stuff like that. Right.
Yeah.
Right. So what I'm saying is, sir. All right. Was the Afghan pullout done poorly? Yes. Is Biden like 100% off the hook for doing it? Absolutely not. Right. He has his hand in it too. All right. And maybe he could have found a way to to extend it even further. Again, by the time he came in, he had less than 3 months to finish off the job. All right. So we already had years of the pullout happening. He had the last 3 months. All right.
Okay.
So if you want to talk about 90,
So-
95%, right? But, and he also,
Years.
and again,
After you,
General Kelly, General Milley, all right?
Yeah.
They all wrote in their books and said, hey, Donald Trump's entire plan, we told him exactly this was going to happen prior. All right? We told Donald Trump that if his plan that he is negotiating with the Taliban at Camp David comes true, which it did, that this exact same thing was happen, and he did not listen to us. All right? So trying to somehow skirt Donald Trump out of this mess is just, it's an effort in futility. Okay. I'm sorry. Like
Okay.
Donald Trump knew that this was going to happen. He
Yeah.
executed the plan anyway, knowing that there was a high chance of loss of life and loss of equipment. Okay. And executed it anyway, and then released the people that did the action. So.
All right. So I don't think we're going to find common ground on this, but I will say this. When you do those long-term operations, you wait to pull out the important stuff last minute. So when you're getting close to the end of it, that's when you actually get rid of like the Humvees or the ATVs, or you get rid of like the ammunition. Like that's the very, very last thing you get out. What was I going to say? And when you have to do these operations, no operation very rarely goes exactly as planned, unless it's like very broad and generic. When you do these really, so many stuff comes up. Let's just say your job was to transport this to there. Your Humvee overheated, your tires blew up, and you're down one driver. You know, sometimes you're just in a mess up situation, but a lot of times you need finesse. You need to know to call in an extra backup or have a little caravan. So you have two.
No offense, and really, truly, no offense. Okay, you spent 4 years in the Marine Corps. I think the generals know this.
I know. Okay.
And that's why they were advising Donald Trump not to do it.
Okay. I don't think we're going to find too many common ground, but the only thing I have to say is when you do these kind of things, you do need to have certain finesse that even enlisted have that officers don't carry. That's the last thing I'm going to say about that.
There was probably a lot of really very experienced enlisted people in there with the generals, because especially senior enlisted people's job is to advise freaking the officers above them, right? Especially when it comes to enlisted things. So I would be very, very surprised if those generals were making these decisions in a vacuum. Okay. I'm sure they were getting advice from the senior enlisted and the officers below them, people with lots and lots and lots of experience, decades and 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 decades of military experience. Probably if you got the whole room together, it would probably be hundreds and hundreds of years of military experience in dealing with these exact things. Okay. And the only person who didn't agree that this was a bad idea was Donald Trump. Okay. All of these incredibly professional military people who do an amazing fucking job in making sure that operations like this go as successful as possible. All of these freaking people, these career military people, okay, were telling Donald Trump that his plan was bad. Donald Trump didn't care. Probably because he's doing right now. He's still trying to chase a Nobel Peace Prize because he's still jealous of Obama. All right. But if all these generals with all of their advisors are all saying that that this was bad and that Donald Trump ignored their advice when it came to this negotiation, knowing this would happen, okay, I think that it is very kind of disingenuous for you to kind of try to tell me that you somehow knew better than all of those generals.
I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that at all. I'm not saying I know better than generals. I'm just saying at the end, it was executed very poorly. I think he had good reason to pull back. And then when you make these very hard decisions, the outcome, it might not be good for anyone.
Yeah, see, the difference between me and you, sir, and this is it.
Okay,
you are trying very hard to blame Biden. Okay, and I understand. All right, you're a partisan. You don't want to think clearly on this. Okay, that's fine. All right. You want to blame the very end of the plan, and my
side. You raised some very good points.
All I'm saying is
very good point.
100% of the plan was bad. Okay, the only part of the plan that wasn't bad was the idea of the plan. Okay, the idea that we should pull out of Afghanistan was the only good part of the plan. Okay. Everything from there on out was done poorly. Okay. All of it. From the time that freaking Trump started negotiating at Camp David to and his advisor started negotiating Camp David till the final execution and the pullout under the Biden administration, the whole thing was done poorly. Okay.
Do you
I
think it
am
would have been
blaming
done
the whole
poorly?
thing. You're just
Yeah.
blaming the last 3 months.
Okay, I have another question. Do you think it could have been done properly then?
Sure. Why
The
not?
whole reason we back, I got you. The whole reason we pulled out, if I remember correctly, well, it was just we were wasting too much time and money there.
Yes,
And
we were.
eventually we had to. Eventually, the only thing I can think of right now that would justify was just the sunken costs, where you just kind of have to cut it out and just do it when you have to. And I think it wasn't going to end pretty no matter what. I would have wished it would have ended perfectly, but it didn't. But it was still a necessary thing that had to be done.
No, it was necessary for us to pull out of Afghanistan. It was necessary for us to pull out of Afghanistan 10 years before we pulled out of Afghanistan. Okay?
Mhm.
It was necessary a long time ago for us to pull out of Afghanistan. Okay? But how it was done, none of that was necessary. Okay? It was not necessary to pull out. It was not necessary for us to pull out at the speed that we pulled out. It was not necessary to leave what we left there. Okay? It was not necessary for us to release 5,000 Taliban prisoners prior to the pullout. Again, a lot of which were responsible for the attack that killed the people that was let out by Donald Trump. We have actual proof that the people that Donald Trump let out of prison were the ones leading the charge, okay, that killed those soldiers. Okay, there was no that was unnecessary. Not giving the Afghan, not actually negotiating with the Afghan government and actually negotiating with the Taliban. So that means the entire thing from the get-go was completely fucked because we weren't even negotiating with the right people. All right, all of that, okay, was fucked. All right. The only part that I agree with is that we needed to pull out of Afghanistan. I agree with that. Okay. Everything from the time we started negotiations with the Taliban was wrong.
I agree with that. I agree with that. It was a piss poor plan with hard structures. It was a very hard thing to overcome, but it had to be done. And I agree with that.
Well, see, we came to an agreement after all.
All right, let's talk about something else. What's the next one?
Oh, there was more?
I don't know. Something else we were talking about. This is just one that stuck. I didn't even know this subject too much. I was listening off random stuff, but then this is the one, I guess, the first one I brought up. What else do you want to talk about right now? I'm very so
I don't know, man. We kind of came to an agreement at the end. I thought this was a great time to end the conversation.
All right, we could do that. All right, have a good
night. Why don't you call back another time? We'll talk about something else. Sound good?
You got it. Sounds
all
good.
Right,
have a good night.
We actually came to an agreement. I don't know why we need to go any further than that. Yo, make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate y'all. Thank you so much for being here tonight. Hit that follow button, turn on notifications if you haven't already. All right. If you'd like to support the live, I do have super chats open. Also, please consider becoming a member. I think I need 4 more members today, so that'd be really awesome. We're gonna run through a couple super chats. I didn't get too many on that one, so we're just gonna run through a couple super chats and then we're gonna move on to the next caller. So I hope you guys are enjoying the time, and thank you so much. Diamond, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Said, Polly, how are you? I'm doing pretty good today. I'm having a great day. I hope you're having a great day as well, Diamonds. I really appreciate you. And Rainbow, thank you so much for the $5 super chat. Says still laughing thinking about yesterday's black trans lady using AI 4chan and the White House's source. I had almost forgotten about her. That's crazy. Now my brain's back at it. Thank you so much, Rainbow. I really appreciate that. And Jen, thank you so much for the $10 super chat. Stormy Daniels is doing a stop in my city next weekend.
Insane.
I can do a meet and greet for $150. Should I do it? Yes, you should. And you should record it and send me that video because I want to make a video of it. Why not? Why not, Jen? Let's do it. It'll be fun. What else do you got going on next weekend? You don't have anything that fun going on. You don't have anything else going on that's that important. I know you don't. All right. I know you don't. Thank you so much, Jen, Rainbow, Diamonds, big W's in the chat for all of them for supporting. I really appreciate you. All right, let's open up these phone lines. Keep this thing going. Thank you guys so much. Hello, how are you?
Oh, I'm doing well. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. How old are you?
Oh, 52.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Awesome. What's on your mind?
How old are you, by the way?
I'm 38.
38. Okay. And can I ask you, where would you line up on the political spectrum? Like, are you a anarcho-socialist or a progressive?
I'd be a progressive. Yeah.
A progressive. Oh, okay. And then, correct me if I'm wrong. I guess the further left you go, then you would get into Marxism, correct?
Yeah, Marxism would be pretty far on the left. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Well, I'm pretty far on the right. I mean, actually, I'm basically outside the box. I'm a real anarchist. I'm a anarcho-capitalist, I guess, for the layman. But yeah, no, I consider myself a true anarchist. But yeah, I served in the military for 8 years, and I just, I've been listening to you off and on, last couple of days. It's pretty entertaining, to be quite honest.
Well, thank
I
you. That's
think
my
that
goal.
I think you got a lot of
Karen,
facts.
thank you so much.
I don't necessarily think that they mean too much of anything when it comes down to it, but
You don't think facts mean too much of anything?
well, I mean, it depends on where they come from. I mean, because you can get these facts like saying, well, these are peaceful protests, but then there's plenty of video showing them firebombing the ICE facility and
Firebombing the ICE facilities. That's a new one.
well, using Molotov cocktails. I mean, they had to board the place up, right?
Bro, nobody was doing any violence until Donald Trump freaking sent the National Guard in.
Oh, is that right?
Yeah.
Like, so
Karen, thank you so much for the membership. I really appreciate you.
So, like, I mean, that's kind of like the same gaslighting the left was using during the Summer of Love, right? When cities were burning down.
I don't know, sir. I wasn't there for the Summer of Love. What's your point here?
Oh, I mean, I'm just completely opposed to, the rhetoric that you're spewing.
Sir, you're a far-right anarchist, okay? Which is like almost an oxymoron, okay? You should be opposed to pretty much what everybody is saying, okay? You should be opposed to the idea of government, okay?
Hang on now. No, you just made a fraudulent statement.
Sir,
That's,
I truly don't care. Of course, we're going to disagree.
Anarchy is? Do you know what
Yes, I
anarchy
know what the
is?
definition of anarchy is, and I'm sure as hell not going to sit here and argue.
Enlighten me.
Hi, sir. Are you there?
Am I here?
Yeah. I don't care about this conversation at all. Okay?
Oh.
I don't care.
Sensitive, huh?
Okay?
Why
No,
are
I
you
just
acting like
don't
your
care.
mother?
Okay? Here's the
Have
really
you
cool
been
thing
told
about
that
hey,
before, huh?
shh.
You've been told that you act
All
just like your mommy, huh?
All right. So, sir, the cool thing about running your own live, you know what the most awesome thing about it is?
You can hang it up on me.
Is I can talk about what the
get
fuck I want.
offended.
And I don't want to
Yeah,
talk. All right,
and-
I'm going to mute you since you're acting like a child, okay? The cool thing about running my own live is that I can talk about what I want to and not talk about anything I don't want to. And anarchy, okay, and being an anarchist isn't even a right-wing thing. Actually, anarchy would be a complete lack of government, okay, which is actually closer to communism. Okay, because in true communism, you don't have government. So anarchist would actually be a left-wing thing, not a right-wing thing, which is why I said it's an oxymoron, okay? But I truly have no will to have this conversation with you because it sounds boring as fuck. All right? So I hope you have a wonderful day, all right?
Can I say?
All right, cool, man. All right, we're going to move on to the next caller. I really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. Most boring conversation ever. Hello, how are you? Hello?
Hello?
Hi, how are you?
Good.
Awesome. How old are you?
37.
Awesome. Do you still support Trump?
I do.
Cool. What's on your mind?
Well, I'm not really sure what you want to talk about, but I would love to talk to you about anything.
You called me. What's on your mind?
Well, I will say this. I do support Trump, but I think he was the lesser of two evils both times he got elected.
Awesome.
I will say I was probably more of a fan of J.D. Vance than I am of Trump.
Awesome. So can you please explain to me, you said that he's the lesser of two evils. Okay, so on one side you had a 34 times felon, an adjudicated rapist, someone who defrauded a children's cancer charity, all right, who sexualized his daughter, who bragged about going backstage at Miss Teen USA pageants to see underage girls naked, and who was best friends with Epstein. Okay. So that's just a few, like, right off the top of my head of like the evil stuff that Donald Trump has done. Can you please tell me what Donald Trump did, or what Kamala Harris did, that was more evil than that?
Putting men and women's sports.
How did Kamala Harris put men in women's sports?
She wasn't against it.
No, I didn't ask you what you thought she was against or for. What did she do? I just told you like 7 things that Donald Trump did, like he actually did.
And how many Democrats were friends of Epstein?
Probably quite a few. Was Kamala Harris one of them?
Who knows? The files haven't been released.
No, the answer is no. Okay. The answer is no. Kamala Harris was not one of them. Okay. So I'm not asking Donald Trump to, like, against the worst Democrat you can find. I'm asking you Donald Trump versus Kamala Harris. And again, I just named like 7 different things, like evil things that Donald Trump did. I'm just asking you to name what Kamala Harris did that was worse.
Well, making it to where we spend our money on prison inmates to get sex changes so they can be moved to female prisons.
Here's a cool thing for you. You know that happened the entire time Donald Trump was president? And actually Kamala Harris didn't make that happen.
She wasn't behind the bill that passed all that money into the prison.
What bill was that?
I don't know specifically the name of it, but
I'm not aware of a bill. Okay. But I'm still trying to figure out how literally having like young girls trafficked off your property is somehow less evil than people having transition surgery. Like, I mean, even if you don't like freaking people having transition surgery, like that, like,
I don't like kids for sure. I'm not saying an adult shouldn't be able to do it. But
well, sir, the entire thing
kids,
the entire prison thing was adults. There are no children having
well,
transition
yeah, but you
surgery.
shouldn't be putting men in women's prisons.
Oh, okay, sir. Again, even if you don't like that, how is that more evil than freaking defrauding a children's cancer charity, literally stealing money from kids with cancer and putting it in your own pocket?
What proof of there is that?
He was sued for it, lost, and can no longer run a charity in the entire state of New York because of it.
Okay, what policies that Kamala Harris was for are you in favor of?
I was very much in favor of her housing policy. I thought it was excellent.
Expand.
Okay, she had everything from subsidies and programs to start building more middle class housing, increasing the supply to meet the demand, so that the housing prices went down. She had a plan to give first time home buyers down payment assistance, which is something that already exists in multiple states. Actually,
definitely already existed.
It already existed, but not at the level that she wanted it to. Okay, she wanted it to exist on top of, and even more on top. In favor of that, because people were having a harder time being able to save up money, especially with the cost of living increases that happened, after COVID. So she wanted to be able to help people to be able to buy more houses with the new houses that she was creating, which would have decreased housing prices and rent prices across the United States, which would have put more money in people's pockets, which would have allowed for an adjustment from that cost of living.
You can't say Trump's against housing.
Well, I'm not whether Donald Trump is against or for housing. You didn't ask me that. You asked me what I name a policy Kamala Harris that I liked, and Donald Trump has done. And Donald Trump has done nothing to help improve housing since he's been in office that I know of. Do you know of anything?
He's been pressuring the Fed to lower interest rates like no other.
But that doesn't fix our housing problem. Our problem with our housing
It does,
system,
because if you lower the interest rate, then more people can afford to buy a house.
sir. First of all, the problem with our housing market is a supply issue. Okay,
Well,
it's
yes,
also a
because there's so many illegal people taking.
Sir,
our
can you
freaking
let me
houses.
finish the sentence, please?
Good.
Awesome. It's a supply issue, and we've had a supply issue for over a decade. Okay, we've had a supply issue within our housing market. Okay, that was even more freaking exemplified by Trump under his first term when there was adjustments to the I believe it's the Fair Housing Act or something like that, where he actually deregulated the housing market, allowing large companies like BlackRock to be able to buy up large swaths of single family housing, creating a false inflation across the housing market. Right. So Donald Trump was actually a negative towards that. But when it comes to the Fed had already planned to lower the interest rates 4 different times this year. Actually, when Donald Trump came into office, they said their intent was to actually lower interest rates 4 times. The only reason there's only been one is because of Donald Trump's policies. He's not pressuring them, he's actually stopping them.
How is he stopping it?
Because his tariff policies are inflationary, which is pausing their ability to lower inflation or lower interest rates, I mean.
Tariffs have absolutely nothing to do with whether or not the Fed decides to charge everybody a minimum of 7% on their house.
It 1000% does.
No, it doesn't.
Yes, it does, sir. See, when we put in tariffs, okay, especially broad sweeping tariffs like Donald Trump does, it's inflationary, okay? And if we have an inflationary act and we match that with another inflationary act like the lowering of interest rates, then we can cause inflation to get out of control, okay? Which would devalue the dollar to an extreme amount, all right? That's the entire job of the Fed is to regulate
there
this,
is no
okay?
value to the dollar, first of all.
Sir, just because we left the gold standard doesn't mean the dollar doesn't have a value.
There is no value to the dollar.
Sir,
We
just
all
because we
pretend that
left the
there's
gold
value.
standard does not mean the dollar does not have a value.
Well, okay, I'll give you that in the sense that anything that has value is in the eye of the beholder of who wants there to be value behind it.
Sir, if the dollar had no value, then me taking a $20 bill from Starbucks would do nothing. But I'm pretty sure I can still go there and get a,
Yeah,
iced caramel macchiato, iced caramel macchiato.
Doesn't mean that it's worth anything.
Yeah, it is worth something, sir. If it's tradable, it's worth something, right? I can still take it and I can still go, can I have a, venti iced caramel macchiato upside down with an extra shot and cold foam, right? And they'll give me change back. It's Starbucks, so probably not much, but
And what would happen if people decided to stop using the American dollar besides the U.S.?
That would be horrible. We'd probably crash our economy. But none of that changes the fact that the reason
because
that
there's no value to the dollar.
No, sir. Even if there was a value to the dollar, if everyone stopped using the dollar, it would crash the economy. Even if we had a gold
If there was
standard,
value
it
to
would
the dollar,
still.
nobody would stop using it. But
And no one's going to stop using it
China-
now, so therefore there's still a value.
in Russian rubies. And,
Sir, if everyone stopped using it now or then, it would still crash the economy. It still crashes the economy regardless. Okay,
right.
But regardless of
nobody
any
would
of that,
stop
sir,
trading in it if it had value.
sir, you're getting off topic here. Okay, I'm going to try to bring you back real quick. Okay, Donald Trump's tariffs are what had the Fed pause on lowering interest rates. Okay, we would already have lower interest rates at this time this year if Donald Trump had came in and done nothing. Okay,
Well,
so if
Biden not only kept the tariffs that Trump had in place, but increased them, and that the housing market interest rate was still pretty low at that time.
yes, because the housing market interest rate didn't go up like there's lots of reasons why the interest rate goes. It's not a housing market interest rate. You do understand that, right? It's just a federal. Do you know what a federal interest rate is?
Well, that 7% applies to housing. It doesn't apply to your car.
The federal interest rate? Yes, it does.
No, because you can still go get a car loan much cheaper than 7% if the bank decides to give it to you.
Sir,
So you're not going to be able to buy a house at cheaper than 7%.
sir, the federal, do you know what the federal interest rate is?
Yes.
All right, what when the Fed raises and lowers, sir, let me ask you a question. When the Fed raises the interest rate, who now pays a higher interest rate?
To the consumer.
Wrong. The banks, okay? That is the interest rate in which banks borrow money. Okay, that is what the federal interest rate is, okay? And then the banks, sir, and then the bank, yes, it's usually passed on to the consumer, okay? So then the banks then decide your interest rate based off of whole myriad of things, considering like your credit score, your ability to pay a down payment, what the collateral is. They decide your interest rate all. So you can have a 4% interest rate, federal interest rate, and you can still get a car at a 0% interest rate.
Yeah, you can't get a house.
Well, no, you're not going to get an interest rate at 0%, regardless of what the federal interest rate is. Okay? And yes, as interest rates go down, okay, so does your borrowing power. You're able to buy things like houses and cars and all other things that you borrow money on. You're able to get them for cheaper. Okay? But the reason why we have a federal interest rate is because the Fed is independent. Okay, and they guide that interest rate based off what's best for Americans, depending on how fast the economy is moving and how slow the economy is moving. All right. So they raised interest rates because we were in super high inflation after COVID. All right. The world went through a super high inflation rate. The United States inflation rate went up to like 9.2%. All right. So they had to raise the inflation rate because you have to slow down the economy in order to adjust for inflation, in order to stop inflation from going so high, all right, that the dollar is worth nothing, all right? And then hold on, no, sir, please listen. You might learn something, okay? And then last year, we started seeing, 2023, we started seeing lowering of interest rates. And then all the way through 2024, we saw lowering of interest rates, and they were projected to continue lowering interest rates all the way through 2025. Okay, but just like, hold on, sir, I'm speaking. Okay, just like how COVID caused inflation, which was the reason why we had to raise interest rates, Donald Trump's tariffs also cause inflation, which is the reason why we can't lower interest rates.
And what has the interest rate gone, or what has inflation gone up percentage-wise since Trump's taken office?
It hasn't gone up significantly. It's like 2.8.
It's gone up by 2.8%?
No, it's about 2.8% year over year, or I guess month over month.
And what was it 8 months ago?
Maybe 3
months ago. So you're saying it's gone down?
Yeah, by 0.2%.
Inflation has gone down.
We don't adjust the interest rate off of just like a 0.2% change in inflation.
I'm talking about inflation, not interest rate right now.
Yes. So am I.
You were saying inflation has gone up because of his tariffs.
No, I'm saying that tariffs are inflationary.
Meaning that they're causing inflation to go up.
So they're causing cost of goods to go up. Cost of goods are up since Donald Trump took office. Cost of goods are up. Cost of groceries are up. Cost of gas is up. All of those things are up since Donald Trump took office.
Cost of gas is down where I lived ever since.
Well, that's fine, sir. I don't shop at your gas station. I go off of the current retail price on average across the United States.
It's cheaper than when Biden was in office, is all I got.
Not when he left office. No, it was not. No, it is not.
Yes, it is.
Okay. Well, the average across the United States, no, it is not.
Well, it also doubled when Biden took office.
It doubled when Biden took office due to the OPEC Plus deal.
Which was, in your opinion, good for the economy?
I don't know. Do you like super high gas prices?
No, I don't.
Then no, it wasn't good.
Well, I'm glad we can agree on that. Okay.
Yeah, except for that was negotiated under the Biden administration or under the Trump administration.
No, it wasn't.
Yes, it was.
So Trump shut down the pipeline, is what you're saying?
Nope. That's not even close to what I said.
Okay.
I said he negotiated the OPEC Plus deal.
Which did what?
Reduce the amount of oil that was being produced across the world by almost 10 million barrels a day.
Okay.
It didn't expire till the end of 2022. Now Donald Trump negotiated negotiated it with OPEC in 2020 with an end date of the end of 2022. See, when a new president takes office, not every single thing that president does, okay, like everything from the last president doesn't just disappear. Okay, if there are deals created with other countries, those deals still stay there. Okay. They don't just change. Thank you so much, Graceful. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. They don't just go away. Okay. All right. You still abide by those deals. All right. And that deal reduced the amount of oil being produced across the world. Okay. So therefore, when we reopened up after COVID and everybody started going back to work, everybody started traveling, we had a reduced supply of oil. Okay. And therefore, we had higher gas prices. When you have a higher demand and a lower supply, you have higher prices.
Gas went up long before COVID was over.
Gas went up as COVID was moving out of, after we were moving out of shutdown.
Gas went up pretty quick after Biden took office.
Yes, because we reopened pretty quick after Biden took office.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yeah.
We were
yes.
still very much shut down.
Yes, when he first took office, it was not too long after that we opened. And that's when gas prices started going up.
You just said it was 2022.
That's when it expired. That's when they stopped reducing the oil reductions. They stopped reducing the oil reductions. That's when they stopped the lowering of oil production. That's when the full oil production resumed, and that's when oil prices started going back up.
No, once it
going
resumed,
down.
it should have been going back down.
That's what I meant to say. I said down.
The same national average.
No, actually, we saw significant oil price reduction in 2023.
Not that was reflected at my gas pump.
Yes, it was, because it was reflected at mine and everybody else in the United States. Okay, look at the numbers from January of 2023, and then look at the numbers from December of 2023. There was a significant decrease.
Okay, so we can agree the cost of goods are going up. Partially because of Trump's tariffs and you know, the foreign makers of our goods are being charged more to sell their goods, so therefore they're passing that price off onto the consumer. We haven't seen the full effect of that yet.
Okay.
What is your solution to that problem?
What is my solution to which problem?
The price of goods going up. To slow inflation.
Well, there is no solution to the price of goods going up. We live in an unfettered capitalist society. I can tell you the things that aren't going to help the price of goods go down, right? Or are going to make them go up even higher. That's the tariffs. The price of goods in this country is controlled, okay, by corporations, right? By the system, right?
Yeah, but you're saying they're going to go up no matter what.
Sure, if the cost of goods go up because there is a tax applied to all of those goods, yes.
So if you took the tariffs away, would the prices go down?
Yes.
No,
Yes.
they never go down.
Yes, they do. Sir.
You get
sir,
a 5-cent roll back at Walmart.
Sir.
If you
Okay,
wanna
let me
consider that a deal.
let me try to make this like a little like easier for you, okay? All right? Let me try to make this easier for you. All right? I like Skittles, okay? If I live in Florida, all right? If Florida put a $5 tax on all Skittles, would the price of Skittles go up, down, or stay the same?
It'd be $5 higher.
Right. If I then took away that $5 tax, would the price of those Skittles go up, down, or stay the same?
They're going to stay the same
They're
because
gonna-
they've already been charging that for it.
No, they're going to go down. Okay.
No,
they're
they're
going
not.
to go down. Okay. Unless the market dictates that they can sell them for higher. Okay. But
Right,
the
if you can
reality
get away
is,
with it, they're going. That's my
but the
point.
reality is, okay, nobody's now going to pay $7 for a pack of Skittles. Okay.
They will
so
because
therefore,
they want the Skittles.
no,
They
nobody
need the
wants Skittles so bad that
need the Skittles. They need
nobody-
the eggs. They need the milk.
nobody
They
is
need the bread.
nobody. Okay, so in your argument, this is what you're saying. Donald Trump has now raised the cost of all goods, and we can't get them down, and it's Donald Trump's fault.
No,
That's exactly what you're saying. Because in my
No.
in my example, that $5 tax is the tariff. Okay?
but
So
you
therefore
said there's
you're
no way-
saying-
you said there's
so
no
you're
solution
saying-
to get the money back down.
Sir.
You take away the tariffs, the price of goods aren't going to go down.
The price of goods will go down depending on the market.
No, the only thing going down is our national debt by the profits from the tariffs.
Our national debt just got raised by $4 trillion by the Trump administration.
Not because of the tariffs, it got raised because of the budget.
Sir, the tariffs are part of the budget.
No, the tariffs are not costing us money.
Yes,
The
they
tariffs
are.
are bringing in money.
They're bringing in money from
That's
us.
the whole point of the tariff.
Sir, who pays a tariff?
The country.
Which
It's
country?
passed on to the consumer.
Which country?
The countries that are importing goods.
Importing goods. And who imports goods into America?
Several nations.
Wrong. Who imports goods into the United States?
Well, we are importing the goods, but
Correct. So who pays the tariff?
the country that we are receiving the goods from.
Wrong. The importer pays the tariff. U.S. citizens, U.S. companies are the ones paying the tariff. What you are currently bragging about is Donald Trump forcing us to pay higher taxes.
No.
Yes.
Okay. If we are, if we import 100% tariff on something that costs $1, it now costs $2 to sell that item in the United States.
It costs
For
$2
the
to now
company-
import
for the
that
company
tariff.
trying to sell for the company trying to sell the item.
It costs $2 for someone to import it in. If the raw cost of a material is $1 and from China, and there's 100% tariff, then that means the importer pays $1 to China and another $1 to the United States government.
Yeah, the dollar that it costs and the dollar to the U.S. government, which is the companies that are receiving the goods.
Sir, if I'm Amazon or I'm a small business that imports from China, okay? If China says, hey, for this good, you owe me $1, then I go, okay, and I give China $1. And then the US government goes, hey, now you also owe us $1 because of the tariff. And so I go, here you go, US government and Donald Trump, here's $1. Okay?
Right.
So now that $1 good from China now costs me $2.
Right. And what's the solution to that problem? buy the item,
that-
the item here, and don't pay the extra dollar.
That only works.
And keep the
That,
price
sir,
of goods down.
that only works if we create that item here at the level of consumption of this country, which 99% of the products that Donald Trump is tariffing isn't true.
99% of the product is what?
It's not true. Okay? The United States doesn't manufacture all of those items at the rate of
Right.
consumption for the United States.
But that's what he's trying to accomplish.
That's never going to fucking happen. You think that the U.S. is going to create every, like, H&M t-shirts, Temu brooms. We're going to create every single product that Americans consume in this country. We don't have the raw materials. We don't have the factory space. We don't have the people to work the jobs. We don't have any of the things that could
First of all,
possibly
I
be
don't
necessary
suggest anybody
in
buy
order
a
to do that.
Temu broom.
What?
I don't suggest anybody buy a Temu broom
Why? They're great.
because it's garbage.
Exactly. It's a broom. I don't need my
But
broom.
it's not a
Sir,
quality broom.
I don't
We
need
made
a
the broom
quality
here, it would be a
broom.
quality broom.
I don't need a quality broom. I need a broom that sweeps up, and when I'm done with it and it breaks or my Australian Shepherd bites it, I
No,
throw
you're
it
not-
in the
you're
trash
not done
can,
with
and
it
then
when
I
it
get a new
breaks.
one.
It just breaks. It just breaks because it's cheap plastic
Perfect.
garbage that big.
That's totally okay with me.
Then you have to buy a new one.
Exactly, but I only paid $1 for it, so why the fuck do I care?
Because you could pay $5 and have the broom more than 5 times longer.
Okay, and then I still pay the exact same cost, so who cares?
So you would just rather have cheap Chinese shit than something that's
Depending
worth
on what it
having.
is. Yeah.
No, that's a poor personal opinion.
That is not a poor personal opinion. Like, I very much like pans. Okay, I like to cook. Big cooking fan. All right. So when I cook, I buy nice pans. Okay, usually bought from Europe. I don't actually buy them from here. Okay, but I buy nice pans. Okay, because I want my pan to last. Because I'm gonna use my pan for a long time. Okay.
You
That
should
is-
feel that way
that
about
is-
everything.
But no, I shouldn't. You can feel that way about everything, but you can't require me to feel that way. Okay? You can't require me to feel that way. All
Not
right?
requiring
And
you,
on top
but
of that,
you should
okay?
feel that way about
And on
everything.
top of that, sir, there's an amount of people in the United States that need brooms. Okay? And if we only bought American brooms, there wouldn't be enough brooms to go around, which means the cost of brooms would go through the fucking roof. Okay? So that
Why wouldn't
$5
there be
broom.
enough brooms to go around?
Okay, where are we going to get the labor?
How many people are jobless?
7 million.
That sounds like a lot of brooms.
There's also 7 million
Amongst
open jobs.
other things.
There's also already 7 million open jobs in the United States. So where are we going to get the labor?
I don't know about there being 7 million open jobs. And 7
There
million
is.
people out of work.
There is the amount of people that are open jobs, and the amount of open jobs, and the amount of unemployed people in this country is just about even. There are already open jobs for all of those people, so there's no one to make the brooms. Let's also be clear that we don't have the raw materials to make those brooms, and let's also be clear that a lot of the raw materials that we would need to make American brooms would have to get imported from other countries. We would need the wood or the metal or whatever we need, all the rivets, all those things now also come from other countries. So we still have to pay the tariffs on all of the things that
Why
it
would
costs
we
to
need
make the
get
broom.
wood from other countries?
Because we don't have, sir, you're just saying the brooms, but now if we start doing that with every single product that takes wood, we don't have enough wood in this country. We don't have enough wood in this country just for the things we're already creating right now. We have to import wood just for things like houses and stuff in this country because we already don't have enough wood just in this country in order to sustain our consumption. So if we are now going to freaking create more products that require wood, okay, we're going to have to import an even higher level of wood because we don't have the amount of trees here in order to sustain what we already have. So now we have to import all that lumber from other countries, and now we have to pay a tariff on all of that lumber in order to get it to this country.
I don't think it's a have to. I think you're just saying it's a choice to import wood.
No,
And
we do not have the lumber in this country currently to support our consumption. Okay? Period. In
I
dot.
think there's plenty of trees out there. You just gotta get outside the city.
Oh my God. Did you? Man, you solved it. Oh my goodness. Nobody looked outside the city for lumber. Oh my, you nailed it, bro. Like that all this time, all of the companies that were looking for lumber were looking in downtown Hollywood. Okay? They should have just left the city. They should have just left. They should just left the city. Sir, if we kill all the protected trees, then in less than a decade we'll be Sir, that's the problem. The trees that you're talking about killing, okay, are the trees that we're using to rejuvenate to keep our lumber industry going. Okay?
Where do we mine trees at right now?
We don't mine for trees, sir. They are above ground.
You know what I mean. Where
I do not.
Cutting down trees at? Where are we cutting down trees at in this country?
Sir, we cut down trees in all sorts of places, okay? None of this matters, sir.
A couple of states, maybe.
Sir, we cut down trees in, I believe, every state in the entire United States. Okay?
For building
Sir,
subdivisions, maybe, but not for making products.
Sir, if we took them, the ones for building subdivisions and put them taking products, then how are we going to build subdivisions?
All right, back to the original point. So if you can't bring inflation down, and even if you cut off the tariffs, you can't bring inflation down. The cost of goods are going to stay the same or go up. Yet our pay isn't. The housing market isn't going to get fixed. There's still going to be plenty of people who can't buy a house, can't find a house to buy, can't afford to buy one. What do you do to make the country any better?
Sir, there is a ton of things we can do in this country to make the country better. Okay? Ton of them. Okay? But having this, like, absolutely ridiculous idea that tariffs are going to make the country better, they don't. Okay? Donald Trump is literally tariffing you on your products in order to give tax cuts to billionaires. Woo! That's why he's tariffing you. Okay? He's tariffing you because he wants to give tax cuts to his rich buddies. All right? And you're just like, please, Daddy Trump, give me more. All right? And I'm saying, no, I don't want that. Okay? That's it. All right? No, I do not want a tax on the low.
I can get on board with that. You don't want tax cuts for billionaires. They make plenty of money. They don't need tax cuts. They should be paying their fair share.
Donald Trump lowered their taxes in his first term and he just lowered their taxes again, while taxing you more.
How am I being taxed more on
Through the tariffs, because everything you buy, sir, is now more expensive because of the tariffs.
Everything the billionaire buys is too.
Right, but to the billionaire, it means nothing, and they're getting giant tax cuts to make up for it, and you're not.
The tax code sucks. Period.
Yes, and it sucks a lot worse under Donald Trump. All right, man. Well, you have a good one. I'm going to give the hamster a break. You have a good night, all right?
Yeah.
All right, man. Bye. Y'all, please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I really, really appreciate you guys. Thank you so much. For CJ, and Stacy. Wild, dude. Wild. Wild, wild, wild. Wild, wild, wild. Lovely Goddess wants to let me know I'm a peasant. Okay. I'm apparently a peasant because my broom doesn't cost $20. All of us need $20 rich people brooms, okay? Rich people brooms. Thank you, lovely guys. I just use that tariffs are going to bail out farmers destroyed by them. That doesn't make much sense. That all right. Karen, thank you so much for the five members, gifted memberships. I really, really appreciate you. Thank you so much, Karen. And CJ, also thanks so much. The session these maggots have with their other people's gender and private parts is very weird. Very, 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 very weird. Oh shoot. Hold on. What did I just get? Michael, thank you so much for the $10 over on Venmo. He said, man, you tried to educate him. This is for anything you do to keep your sanity. I appreciate that. And Michael, also thank you so much for the other $10 Venmo. Says, for you, Polly, for trying to educate the uneducatable. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Beatrice, thank you so much for the $20 over on PayPal. Said, I appreciate you. Thank you so much. Big W's in chat for everybody who donated and supported. I really appreciate y'all. Please make sure you hit that follow button, hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. I am going to end the live right now, and I will be off tomorrow. So I will see you guys 10 a.m. Saturday morning, 10 a.m. Central for Waking Up with Polly. I hope to get to see you guys then. Love you guys. I hope you guys have a wonderful night, all right? Bye.